All right. Welcome into this edition of the Milwaukee Bucks on Tap podcast. Corey Moen, Evan Byrne. Evan, how we doing?
Not too bad, not too bad.
Yeah. It's been an up and down week for the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah, can say that. Yeah, it's you win some, you lose some, literally.
You know, the inconsistency, I think, to some fans could be really, really maddening. Just because of the fact that, you know, you fired Adrian Griffin, and then you're kind of expecting this team to, like, you know, take off. It really hasn't yet. And, you know, I'm going to be honest, the same kind of issues have persisted so far in the Doc Rivers era. I believe they are now 3-6.
Yes.
They have a 3-6 record, which, again, it's just starting out. Okay, this is, 9 games only?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, nothing to be alarmed about yet. Okay, it was going to take a little bit for the team to find its footing. But the concerning part is at some stretches, it feels like the offense is having trouble scoring, which brings me to, you know, what kind of sets are they running and all this other stuff. But, you know, I think the main concern, and right before we get to the Timberwolves game, I think the main concern that the Bucks fans are immediately pointing to is that Damian Lillard isn't really having a good year. Okay, I think everybody, and it's weird to say that because he's an all-star starter, but his splits are not very good this year. He's only shooting like 29% from three.
Yeah, it's
like actually let me look that up. I think maybe it might be in the last 10 games. Lillard. So we'll take a quick peek at Lillard's splits so far so that
his last 10 he's shooting 35%.
Yep, okay. Lillard hasn't looked like Dame time yet, which again, new team and all this other stuff. So, you know, he had 16 points on 5 of 14 shooting. So he didn't play against the Timberwolves or the Suns. He went 5 of 18 against the Jazz. That's not good. That's not going to cut him. He's shooting 42% from the field, 34% from three. So, you know, I think people do kind of have a right to criticize him because this is, although when I kind of look at these numbers, it kind of looks like this is kind of where he's supposed to be at. Like, okay, he shot 46% last year. Shot 40 the year before, but he only played in 40 games, 45%. So it's a slight drop off.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of it's just the amount of shots he's taking. When he has games where he's shooting 13 threes and only makes 3 of them, I think that's what stands out to me the most. You can shoot 38%, but if you're shooting maybe 7 threes a game, maybe cut that in half. But yeah, when you're taking more than 10 consistently and not making 5 of them, I think that's the bigger issue. I think when I see it, the overall percentage.
But are you concerned with how Lillard's performed this season?
Yes, but not in like I mean, you are on a whole new team for the first time in your career. You got things going on outside of basketball that are kind of hard hitting at times. Sure, it sucks, but I feel like it'll definitely grow as he continues to play more, hopefully for next year as well. But it's concerning. I think it's more frustrating than concerning just because you finally get this guy and he's not performing how they were kind of hoping he would. So, yeah, I feel like I wouldn't be like upset with it. I'm just a little more no, I should say I'm more upset, but I'm less concerned. Mm-hmm. I just, you know, you want to see this guy perform well, but some of those games, it's just, yeah, not the prettiest to look at or watch.
And here's the thing, okay? Like, as fans, you can only give so much rope to someone going through, like, personal life struggles, okay? Because here's the thing. Fans care about really how you perform, okay? They can act like they care about you as a person, okay? Most of them don't. Most of them, like, when you suit up and you make millions of dollars, perform. Like, you know, you should be able to, like, the biggest thing about being an athlete is to be able to compartmentalize about like outside struggles. So like, we're not going to look back on this. Okay. If Lillard doesn't like pick it up slightly, just slightly, or if he doesn't have a good playoff performance, there's not going to be one fan that's going to be sitting back saying, well, you got to give him some leeway his first year. He was going through a divorce. Nobody's going to be saying that. I promise you, nobody's going to be saying that. So I think like I'll give him a little rope about going through a divorce. But I think there does come a point in time where it's just like, dude, like we acquired you for a reason. Like it's supposed to be the Dame and Giannis like 2-man game, and like I get it, he's an all-star starter, but I don't know if he got that based on his numbers this year or it's because like the all-star game is a popularity contest.
Yes.
Okay, where it's like, well, let's see, best point guard in the well, people are going to watch the name Damian Lillard, and they're not going to watch the name Jalen Brunson. So, and there was a lot of people who were rightfully upset about Damian Lillard being named an all-star starter. Because, with all-star starters, it's just like, well, these are supposed to be the 5 best guys in the East. Like, Damian Lillard hasn't performed like that consistently this year. Like, it's kind of been off and on where he's had good games and bad games. So it's such a tough thing, and I understand why Jalen Brunson feels like he was screwed. But happens to break sometimes.
Yep, goes in our favor, so
can't complain. So first up, the Bucks against the Timberwolves. They got absolutely destroyed.
That is correct. It was the third quarter that did it to them, per usual. I went to that one. That was the one that I think we recorded. Then 15 minutes before, my friend had extra tickets, and I walked right over to the stadium. Yeah, they just got rocked in that third quarter, 39-22. That was just the downfall from that end. Just kept going down from there.
And a 129-105 loss. Like, it was just, I don't know. They just didn't, okay. I'm going to give it some leeway there because they didn't have a point guard that night.
That is true. That's the only downfall. You have Jay Crowder playing 37 minutes. Sure, he shot well, but when you have Jay Crowder getting the primary point guard position and Pat Connaughton, yeah, it's going to be a whole different game.
Although I will say this, kind of rewatching that game, Crowder, he had a big first half in that game.
He did, and you know who didn't? Malik Beasley. Jesus, 0 for 9 on threes. Made one shot of his 13 baskets.
There was another low-key killer from Milwaukee. That was Mike Conley. That man could not miss on that night.
Yeah, that was this, and then when we get to the Heat game, it's like they just weren't missing.
Well, and unsurprisingly, with like Lopez being the only true big, I think in that game, unsurprisingly, like the bigs for Minnesota were feasting on Milwaukee.
Yeah, when you have Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert, it's like there's no Brook Lopez isn't beating any of them.
No, and say what you will about Cat and say what you will about Gobert, but these are still two high level players in this league. Okay, I understand people think that Rudy Gobert is like soft and like kind of a bitch, but he had a bad first year. He had a bad first year in Minnesota, but now his second year, he's really like put it all together. I think he's a difference maker for that team. Okay, it could be the first seed, but it could be one of those things where it's kind of Gobert giveth and taketh away, because there comes a point in time if you stretch the floor against Minnesota, they're very, very beatable.
Yeah, it's almost like it's kind of like, obviously you got the Cavs too that are hot right now, but they're finally doing well after so long of not doing well. And I feel like it's again like that 2018 Bucks season where you get so close and then everyone's all disappointed, but they got a good future. But yeah, it's one of those things of can they produce in the playoffs?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but there was one big performance to highlight.
Oh yeah, My
AJ
guy.
Green, 27 points, 7 of 8 from 3.
Yeah.
That man, like, despite the fact that Milwaukee wasn't going to win that game and they were down by like so much, that man went on a heater.
Yep. He
He
got
he
chants in
could
the
not miss.
stadium. They were chanting his name, and I was up in there like, AJ Green, hitting shot after shot. But yeah, may have lost, but saw my favorite guy get a career high. They were when Andre Jackson Jr. took that last shot, people were like so mad because they wanted them to pass to AJ to try to hit one more to hit 30. But yeah, 27 shot piece on almost 100% shooting. Cannot complain.
That was crazy. Like he could not miss. Despite the fact there was basically garbage time
Exactly.
like they had to come back from down like try to come back from being down so much. AJ Green. And I think that's what Doc Rivers realized. It's like, oh, we gotta make this dude like a part of our rotation. And not only that, what I've noticed from AJ Green, the difference from this year to last year, his defense has gotten a lot better.
It has been. I've noticed that in the upcoming games that we're going to talk about too. But yeah, he could be a difference maker come playoff time. You never know.
Which is weird because I do think defense is all about like mentality, where it's just like, you know, you gotta like work really hard on defense. It's a mindset almost to be like a good defender. And I think AJ Green realizes to play under Doc Rivers, like you have to play a little defense. And I think he does. I think he's been doing a great job of that. I think he's been putting in more effort this year, more so than last year, because again, you know, just being a solid shooter like that, you don't usually ask like standalone spot up shooters to be good defenders, but he's been putting in a lot of effort on that end of the floor.
Yeah, we'll get into that into the Nuggets game. But yeah, that was fun. I cannot complain. Obviously, I could complain about that game, but yeah, seeing that was a fun moment, seeing career highs. But yeah, other than that, it was just an atrocious game. Again, you got good plays or good shots from some of the role guys in the starting position, but yeah, just seeing Malik Beasley shoot like shit and have Damian Lillard not play, and yeah, it was just it'd be cool to win, but once they lost the lead, there was no way they were coming back.
So, you know, a tough, unfortunate, tough game for the Milwaukee Bucks, but you know, it's just one of those. It's just one of those things where, you know, just being shorthanded and facing off against the number one defense, like that was bound to happen. I feel like. So, moving on to the next game, Bucks face it off against the New Orleans Hornets. God forbid, you know, Milwaukee easily won that game, 120-84.
Yeah, this was the game they needed to have.
Patrick Beverley playing his first game for Milwaukee.
Yep, the debut.
Hit his first shot. Had a really funny like celebration after.
Yeah, ran into Steve Clifford.
So, I mean, like for the Hornets, first of all, you're going to be hard pressed to find like players you can name on that team because obviously, you know, Joe didn't play. It is Joe, right? Now I'm confused. Leandro is the youngest, isn't he?
LaMelo is.
LaMelo. Why did I say Joe? Okay. LaMelo didn't play. And, you know, after that, like, who else do you have? Like, Miles Bridges, Nick Richards. I mean, you know, you're just going to be hard-pressed to find, like, noteworthy names on that team.
Yeah, and it was obviously without LaMelo Ball playing, it's like you see the score of 120-84, and it's like, well, they didn't have any of these guys, and it's one of those games where it's like, but this is what they were supposed to do. They didn't make it competitive. It wasn't a close game. They didn't give up 114 points and win 114-120. They did exactly what they need to do. They got over with it, and they moved on to the next one. I think this was an overall good kind of setback game. You got Patrick Beverley. You're back at home. Yeah, it was the game that needed to happen. They did exactly what they were supposed to do, and then you move on. This is an overall fun game to watch. Another slaughtering of the Hornets this season.
Yeah, Yeah, and if anytime you need like a get right game, like the Hornets are like the perfect opponent,
Yeah.
just because they just haven't been relevant as a franchise in so long. Okay, they've been really horrible. They've been really, really bad. And this was a nice little pick me up game for Milwaukee. Okay, especially with the numbers Giannis put up in this game, especially with the numbers Patrick Beverly put up. Like Giannis had 15, Low had 26, Beasley had 21. So it's just one of those things where AJ Green came back down to earth with 3.
Yep.
Even Thanasis and Patrick Beverly got in the act.
Yeah, Thanasis said, 4 points? Outscored AJ Green.
Marjan Beauchamp at 4 as well. So, just a nice little get right game for Milwaukee.
Yeah, this was one of the games near the end. A lot of was it this game or was it the Nuggets game? I think it was the Nuggets game, but yeah, there was just a lot of good overall balanced out. Again, it wasn't. I mean, you kind of say Lillard kind of held on the own for most points, but wasn't. Giannis had a 50-point game and everyone else didn't contribute. It's just overall balance for a lot of the main role or the main stars. But yeah, just a good game overall. They were passing, playing defense. Patrick Beverly effect has started. Again, hit his first shot within seconds of coming into the game. But I like this game. I enjoyed it. Again, it was another good win against the Hornets like they did earlier in the year where they beat them by like 31. But yeah, I was glad that this was a blowout or a double-digit lead win again, where it's not making it close for no reason at all. That's all I hoped for. I just didn't want them to lose or like win by 5 points where it's like, cool, yeah, won, but at what cost? But yeah, just a good game. Can't really say much about it. They were hitting their shots that they need to. 3-pointers, it was okay. But yeah, gets on the rebounding, steals, overall, couldn't complain.
No, I mean, it was just a nice, easy blowout game against the Hornets. So, like I said, not too much to complain about. Next up is against the Denver Nuggets.
This was a fun game to watch.
It was a lot of fun, and here's why. Because if you remember, Doc Rivers' first game was against the Denver Nuggets.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of let the game slip away. I feel like they had a chance to potentially win that game, but they let it slip away.
Yep, right near the end.
But Doc Rivers, to his credit, he was like, it felt like in that game he was just like, we're not going to be able to stop Jokic, but if we can stop the other guys and just make Jokic score, I think we're better off of winning this game. And that's exactly what they did. Jokic had 29 points, and I believe the next closest was, I want to say it was Michael Porter Jr. with 14.
Aaron Gordon, 14.
Aaron Gordon had 14.
Yeah, so 15-point difference. But yeah, that's exactly what they did. And clearly it works because you won by double digits.
And I think the point you want to bring up, AJ Green's defense.
Yep, right on Jamal Murray.
The one clip I remember of AJ Green against Jamal Murray is like they were, Jamal Murray was trying to back AJ Green down the post. Green held his own and he forced a miss.
Mm-hmm.
That's the point where it's like, wow, it's one of the best point guards in the league to lock him up like that. That was impressive.
Yeah, and Jamal Murray only had one basket. So, and it was late in the game too. But yeah, the post plays, I think overall by the entire team was so much better. And it kind of started out that way too. The first time they played them with Doc Rivers, again, like those first 4 or 5 minutes were like some of the best basketball they played in the season. And again, it slowly chipped away. But yeah, I feel like everyone defensively played so well this game, and it made the game a lot of fun to watch, especially near the end when, I mean, you got like 6-7 minutes left, and they bring in the role players, the bench, the end of the bench guys. That part I think was like some of my favorite part to watch because you got all these guys contributing. They're still scoring. You got AJ Green coming in. You got Andre Jackson Jr., Marjan. They're all connecting still. You got Ty playing. But yeah, it was just a really good game, I think, offensively and defensively. And it felt, again, it kind of sucks because of obviously the next game, but I felt like a good run was going to start, but for a win streak. But yeah, just clearly doesn't happen. But that's a build up, especially losing to them the last game with Doc Rivers. Obviously, it's at home. It's a little different, but it was a good kind of pick-me-up game from their last close loss against the Nuggets. But yeah, just an overall good game, I think, from everyone. Again, got everyone in. Giannis had a really good game. 36 points, 18 rebounds, 3 steals, 2 blocks. Just an insane stat line, 5 assists. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I think that was one of my favorite games to watch this season just because of the defensive end as much as the offensive play too. Defense wins games.
Especially that night. I think they had to kind of figure out a strategy how to stop Jokic and stuff like that. And, while he scored 29, I believe it was on 25 shots. So it was one of those things where they made him work for every single one of those shots, every single one of those attempts, which kind of impressed me the most. Is like Jokic is going to score, but like if you can make him work for it, like I think, the Nuggets are beatable if you just do that.
Yeah, because they were Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., and it mainly stuck out with Michael Porter Jr. I felt like at points they were just chucking up shots. He shot 8 3-pointers. Again, he's the meme of not passing. The low assist game, he had 4, but at points like they were just forced to shoot up a shot. Clearly that they didn't want to. They had a few 24 seconds. It just felt like they were clicking and just forcing up the shots, especially from the guard forwards, I guess, for the Nuggets itself, only allowing 11 3-pointers out of the 40. Good perimeter defense, but yeah, it was give the ball to Jokic and hope that helps. Kind of like a Giannis situation where Giannis, you got to score the most and hope that we can hold him, but it worked out and no one else could do anything outside of Jokic, clearly.
Yeah, sometimes watching that game, I was like, does Michael Porter Jr. even pass? Like anytime he gets like any semblance of being open, he shoots it.
Yeah, that's the meme that I've seen like on TikTok and stuff is the lack of passing that Michael Porter Jr. does.
No, he doesn't do it.
Similar to Bobby, again, balls in my hand, I'm shooting this ball no matter what. But yeah, he was just chucking up shots, 3 for 11. You got 1 for 5. Caldwell Pope, I forgot, went out early on in the first quarter. But yeah, even the role guys, they weren't making anything. Their best bench player was Reggie Jackson with 7 points, and Christian Braun. Again, just poor 3-point shooting, I think, led them to the win overall. Again, you force them to miss 39 shots or 29 shots. So when you're shooting 40 shots and you only hold to 11, I mean, that's one of those things where you got to hope to win from there.
Yep. So moving on to the next game.
Ooh.
I don't even want to talk about this game, but I have to. Bucks lost the back-to-back against the Miami Heat, 123-97.
Yeah,
really not any positives to take away from this game.
No one could miss a shot.
They were down early. Okay, like Nikola Jovic had 24 points. Had 4 or 5 guys at double figures. Had Bam at 16. Hero
Bam had a triple-double.
Bam did?
Yeah, he had 11 assists, I think, to get him the triple-double. I think the worst part about this game is just the guys who just could not miss. And I think the biggest one is how on earth did Kevin Love had 5 3-pointers? Kevin Love had 19 points. The last time I saw Kevin Love play live was one of his first games last season with them. He was missing every single shot. I didn't think he still had it in him. Good for him. Like, respect, but come on. 5. They let him shoot 7 3-pointers, and he made 5 of them. That bugs me when you get the guys who, they had their time. They're kind of slowly declining, and you still let them have their shining moments. Always a frustrating part about a basketball game that you're already losing, and then Kevin Love, bang, 3-pointer commercial. And it's a frustrating game.
Yeah, well, it sounds like Kevin Love has found history. I mean, the Heat just could not miss in that game, even without Jimmy Butler. So this is why the Heat are such a respected organization, because they could just kind of get guys off the scrap heap and they're going to perform.
Yeah, I really think Eric Spoelstra has done wonders for that team. And we've mentioned it before this season and last season, but no matter who he has, I feel like he can always coach and beat any team he wants with ease. But yeah, Jovic having 5 threes, Duncan Robinson 6 threes, Kevin Love 5 threes. It's one of those things where if the threes are going in for a few guys, it's game over from there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's annoying because you go from having the second highest points per game to 97 points, barely cracking 100 some games, or 110 where they were averaging 124 points. Adrian Griffin leaves and now you're at 110-ish or less. But yeah, it's defense gotten better, but they traded a lot of their offensive schemes with Adrian Griffin. But yeah, just one of the games.
Yep.
The other team's making every shot. You're missing every shot. You're not going to win. There's no crawling back.
No, and I mentioned this before. Is like Duncan Robinson's always been a Wisconsin sports killer. Ever since his days in Michigan, where it felt like he made everything against my Badgers. It's just he against Wisconsin. I don't know. He just finds like his shooting stroke. I don't know what it is.
Yep, for a guy who averages 13 points and then he comes in and scores 24, it's like, come on, or 23. It's always the guys, the role players who double their points per game, and it's always against the Bucks.
I don't get it. So, moving on to our last two topics on the pod. This one's gonna be. I'm gonna share a video in a couple seconds, but I'm gonna give you some context of like the video I'm about to show. Justin Jackson was on the 2021 Milwaukee Bucks championship team. Okay, probably, I don't know, the 13th or 14th guy off the bench. Just needed him to fill a roster spot. And he gets on a podcast and he says that if Harden or Kyrie Irving didn't get hurt, that they would have swept us. So I'm going to play the video now, and me and Evan will hold our reactions till after the video is done.
Yeah, it's always the role players you talk, I feel like. Looking back, no one knows who you are anymore. You're not even in the league anymore. Yeah, this came out, 2 days ago, roughly?
Mm-hmm. It's about a 2-minute video, so we're just gonna hold our reactions till after.
I don't think the sound's coming through. Do you hear it?
Your sound's not coming through?
No, not on my end. No.
Huh. That is odd. Usually it does. All right, see if it does now.
No.
Damn, that's kind of a...
Yeah, it usually does. The heck?
It was on mine. One more time.
No, but you can quote it for us.
I'm gonna have to.
As it's playing.
The video would have helped. But basically,
I did see parts of it though.
You did see parts of it.
Yep.
So basically, the whole quote was that, basically, if Kyrie and James Harden did get hurt, that they would have swept Milwaukee. Okay. First of all, we don't really know that. Okay, I get it. 3 top 75 players, or maybe I think it's actually 2 because I don't think Kyrie made that. I'm trying to remember. Anyways, 3. Well, we'll say this: 3 surefire Hall of Famers. Okay. We don't really know what would have happened if those 2 didn't get hurt. We don't know what would have happened if those two never got hurt. So that's already a non-starter. And honestly, it's just like it's so stupid to bring that up just because of the fact it's just like Milwaukee won a championship. So it's like there with any championship run, there is luck involved.
Mm-hmm.
There are injuries that do occur. I mean, you're going to sit there and tell me that the Heat didn't have luck last year with, Giannis hurting his back. So, it's just one of those things where with every championship run, there is luck involved. And I just don't understand why people have to hop on these podcasts and then just be like, oh, well, if this would have happened, then we won to one. But see, why would you bring that up?
Mm-hmm.
Dude,
you were on the team that won.
What's the point of bringing that up? You should be happy you have a championship ring.
Yeah,
you were up on the parade. You gave a speech. Well, one of you did. They kind of lumped the bench warmers into one category. But the point is, it really doesn't matter. We don't need to bring up about if this would have happened, we would have won. We won. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Yeah, maybe if KD and MS foot on the line, we probably would have lost. It doesn't matter. There's a lot of luck involved with winning a championship.
Yeah.
You have to catch a lot of breaks just to get to that point. So, I mean, honestly, the Warriors during one of their dynasty run, okay, their first one, they had Kevin Love and Kyrie get hurt.
Yep. So they're out. Who knows what that would have happened?
So,
yep. Kevin Durant.
I get it. The podcast host is gassing him up. He's just like, hey, he's on the team. Not really. We needed him to fill a roster spot.
Yeah.
He's on the team, but he's not he's not an integral part of the team.
Yep.
If he got the stomach flu or something and he had to miss a game, nobody would care.
No one would even know.
No. Nobody's going to sit there with the eyes of beer. Oh my God. Why is Justin Jackson on the bench? Nobody
Where did he go?
Nobody cares.
That was
he's not an integral part of the team. He was there to fill a roster spot.
Yeah, that a few weeks ago or a few months ago, I remember Trae Young's quote came out and he was basically saying I don't remember how it was worded, but they should have beat the Bucks in that Eastern Conference Finals. And Bobby Portis commented Giannis was out 2 games. It's you have the injury that's essentially in your favor, quote unquote, and they still couldn't do it. It's again, you never know what's going to happen. It just happened to go in our favor. You won a chip. There are guys who played 20 some years without getting it. Vince Carter doesn't have one. He played for 20 years. You got all these guys who deserve a ring, and then you get one, and then it's like a backhand or a middle finger to the guys who actually did the work.
It is 100%
win it for you, and here you are oh yeah, we would have gotten smoked. It's dude, come on.
And honestly, Bucks fans are talking about now that was Justin Jackson's attitude for the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
He should then have to go for his championship ring to someone who probably deserves a little more.
Yep. Same with Forbes.
Maybe Brandon Jennings.
Yeah, Brandon
Michael
Jennings.
Redd, Ersan Ilyasova, guys who embodied what it was like to be a Milwaukee Buck. I mean, Brett Forbes too. It's just Jesus, you got charged with 3rd-degree assault. It's
again.
Damn. And he outscored Jimmy Butler in the 2021 playoffs, but nobody's going to remember that.
Exactly.
Remember him being a ginormous scumbag. So,
yep.
You got to take the good with the bad.
But yeah, that just came out. It was so first of all, it was random for him to just be on a podcast like that. It's not like he's some X star who's coming back, just retired kind of thing. But yeah, it was just a wild sequence. Again, just kind of a middle finger to Giannis and all the other guys who contributed to it, and just kind of saying that they would not just lost but got swept. It's they probably could have beat us in 6 games instead of 7, but it's they would have swept us. Wild statement.
It's literally not a good attitude to have, especially if you're on that team.
Yep.
We would have gotten swept.
Yep.
Okay,
So
like
not
first
even
of
in the league
all,
anymore.
like this Milwaukee team was like pretty good.
Yeah.
Like let's not sit there and act like that team was full of scrubs. It wasn't. It wasn't. Like, we sure Milwaukee caught a couple of breaks during their finals run. Okay, shouldn't discredit them just because Trae Young tripped over the ref, or Kyrie landed on someone's ankle, or James Harden hurt his hamstring like 2 seconds into the game. That's not our fault.
Mm-hmm.
We go with who's out there. Maybe we should blame the Nets GM for like not building a better team around Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving. Because let's be honest here, like star players don't win championships. Role players win championships. And there's a distinct difference. It's like, okay, yeah, it's good to have 2 good star players, but like who do you have around them?
Yeah.
Do you have enough
No.
do you have enough pieces around them to contribute? And it's not just 2 guys. It's not like if Milwaukee wins a championship this year, it's not just going to be because of Lillard and Giannis. It's going to be like Pat Connaughton, Bobby Portis, like Andre Jackson Jr. Everybody plays a part who gets solid playing time in helping a team win a championship. Everybody.
Yep.
Everybody's got to pick up their own weight.
Correct.
So it's not just going to be Lillard and Giannis or Middleton or Lopez or whatever. It's going to be everybody.
Yep. You got playoff Pat from 2021 who went absolutely insane in some of the ends of those playoff games. It's like you take away one of Pat Connaughton's baskets. Oh, not focused. You might not win a game. It's every possession counts, offense and defense. And yeah, it's who knows. But yeah, just looking at Justin Jackson itself, since he's played on the Bucks, he's been on 1, 2, 3 different teams, and he's just in the G League now. So it's like you're just talking the talk, but you're not really showing showing out of well in the NBA anymore. So it's good times. Good times with Justin Jackson as he sat with us.
Yep. So we got one more story. The Bucks reported the Bucks and the Lakers, I believe, the 2 teams, right?
Clippers.
Yes.
Other Los Angeles team.
Are reportedly interested in signing Danilo Gallinari.
Yeah, and the rumor was sent out by Patrick Beverley himself.
The Pat Bev pod on
Yep.
Barstool Sports Network. Yep.
Yep, you got the rumors per Patrick Beverley. I mean, personally, it's one of those guys where it's like you're not getting some absolute stud of a player, but you have a guy who can hit a 3. He's a veteran status. Again, I know the Celtics got him, was that last year, hoping that he could kind of show out for them. Obviously, the unfortunate injury that he had. But yeah, just averaging 7 points in 15 minutes. He's one of those guys where the good role player, come in, hit a few shots. You're not going to ask him to score 25 points because that's not his role. Very similar to like a name we don't want to remember, but a Nikola Mirotic. Again, you got those spot up 3-point shooters. He's long. He's got the defense with him. But yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to it. It doesn't help to add a little veteran presence on the bench themselves, especially for scoring in general. If you got a guy who could kind of give you 7 to 10 points a game or so every so often, it's something that can help in the long run, and just a well-rounded, respected player, I think, in the NBA.
If he could stay healthy, this is a good move. It's just the problem is he's been kind of bitten by the injury bug past couple of years.
Yes, he has.
So Gallinari, though, he was also like a former Bucks killer. I always felt like he played like some of his best games against Milwaukee. He's not going to add anything defensively, but it's kind of like another floor spacer. So, and he's also played under Doc Rivers.
Mm-hmm.
He did play for the Clippers for a little bit, kind of during that transition between
the end of the Lob City run.
And yeah, with like when they had Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Gallinari, and Pat Bev actually played with Gallinari. So if Milwaukee makes this move, like I'd be in favor because I think it's another stretch 4. He can shoot the lights out of the basketball. And I think Milwaukee like just adding another pure outside shooter, I think that'd be a good move for this team.
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to it again if it can. Again, you want someone who can have an effect in some way, some shape in these games. Again, career shooting, he's 15 points per game. Again, it's never been like some stud, an all-star, anything like that. But it's one of those guys where it's if you can have him on your team, it doesn't hurt to extend that veteran presence. Little older, again, you've mentioned injury prone. I think he tore his meniscus last year and was out for the year. I don't think it was ACL, something where like ended the year for him. But yeah, he's just kind of bouncing around. I feel like maybe just ending on a team that's contending and just kind of see where he goes from there. But again, not opposed to it. It would be kind of nice to have him just to not rely on, but you got him on the bench, help the younger guys. AJ Green, I feel like could learn just from his spot up shooting. Again, the height difference is a little different with the spot up shots, but again, I feel like overall this is a guy that would have been nice to have a few years ago. But yeah, if you can add him now near kind of the end of his career as he's slowly starting to dwindle down, kind of get him before he the tank runs out, I should say.
True. So, Evan, you got anything else?
No, we got one game. They play tonight, then it's All-Star break. So we got Malik Beasley and Lillard in the three-point contest. Statistically, we have the odds of maybe winning. It'd be cool to see one of them win. Again, it's not like I'm going to be wallowing in tears if they don't win, but yeah, you got that. Then you got Lillard and Giannis in the All-Star game itself this weekend in Indianapolis. But yeah, so after tonight, they play the Grizzlies away. After tonight, they don't play again until next Friday. So they got the All-Star break and then that little the few days where there's no games being played. The All-Star break, the weekend's done. It's just a little vacation, so they don't pick up again until Friday at 9:00 in Minnesota. It's one of those televised games where it's Central Time, but we're still playing at 9:00. Fun.
So, yeah, me and Evan will be there to cover the action, obviously for the Minnesota game, and then for the All-Star game festivities. So, thank you guys for tuning into the Milwaukee Bucks at Tap podcast. We'll see you guys next week.